So when we're talking about dogs who are struggling outside on leash, who are overwhelmed, it's really good to have multiple tools that you can kind of go to in certain situations. One thing is not going to fix it. Also, we want to think about the fact that these dogs are upset and overwhelmed, and so listening isn't going to probably be their strongest skill. They're relying on their own means of communication to stay safe from their perspective, and so we can kind of go out the window. So having some extra tools is super healthy. Having hand signals on board for a variety of skills is great. Not all skills have hand signals, but one of the skills that can be really helpful is a good hand signaled sit. So this is pretty easy to teach. I'm going to do it with a food lure. The first few times I'll do it with food in my hand, then I'll move to something that looks more similar to the hand signal, kind of a hybrid between the lure and the hand signal, and then my goal is to end with a hand signal. So I'm not actually going to say anything except yes when the dog gets it right. Come on, kiddo. So I'm going to have food at her nose height, and I'm going to start to bring it up over her head. The goal is her nose comes up just enough that I get, yes, a butt tuck. Good job. Treat at the nose, bring it up slightly over her head. Yes. If her front feet come up, that tells me that my lure is too high. This time I'm just going to use something that looks a little bit like the lure. All right, let's start you all the way over. So I toss some food to get her off the mat. Yes, good girl. So that was a variation on the hand signal already. She's good with that. I'm sort of crouching. My goal is to stand up straight. This time I'm going to give her and she's not ready for something that looks too much different. And actually, she's actually lost the approximation, so I'm gonna go back to a lure. Yes, good girl. And this is a good example because this is a dog I just pulled out of her kennel who doesn't know the hand signal for sit. So this is gonna be more similar. Yes, good girl. So we got the lured sit back. And now I'm going to go ahead and give her, yes, just the hand signal. Good girl. And I'm going to do that one more time. Yes, good girl. So if this was a dog who I then wanted to move to the verbal cue, what I would start doing would be saying sit and then giving that hand signal. The nice thing about having a hand signal for sit or any other behavior is it means that you got to that place with that hand signal in some way. So if you're having a dog who's just checked out and can't do anything, I go back to the lure, right? So if I have multiple steps in a plan and I'm trying to use a more finished product and my dog and I are just not communicating, I can go back to that earlier version. So there is no harm, no foul. A lot of times we have to work harder to get these guys, these overwhelmed dogs, back on the planet. And so having a calm, cool, collected way, a plan where you can kind of backstep it is totally reasonable and in everybody's best interest.